Hey everyone, Morgan here. So we're talking about album of the week again, and we've got one that has a real story behind it. It is the debut album by the album The Cars, and it was simply titled The Cars. This came out in summer of 1978, and this album packed a punch. It's hard to describe exactly what genre the Cars are in. New wave, okay, uh, just straight up rock and roll, synth pop. They don't they defy description in that way. Now the guys in the band had been playing for a while in a lot of other bands. In fact, their drummer David Robinson, he had been in a really well-known Boston group called the Modern Lovers, and the bass player the bass player was Benjamin Orr, and the guitar player singer Rick Ocasek had been in bands together. One called Captain Swing, kind of a cool name. So they had some time under their belts. They were ready for their moment. They were also a little bit older than your average breakthrough artists. I think they were approaching 30 at this point. Now, this album had a lot of songs that had been demoed previously and had been released to some Boston radio stations and gotten some airtime. And they were building up a following. There were a couple different artists or labels that were interested in them. And eventually they signed. They got into a studio with a guy named Roy Thomas Baker as the producer engineer. And he had worked with Queen. In fact, if you've watched the film Bohemian Rhapsody, he's featured in that film. And he created some amazing sounds for these five guys. A lot of technology involved in it. I say technology today, it would almost be a joke. It's really not that high tech, but at the time it was really great. So when this album came out, side one had the track Good Times Roll, My Best Friend's Girl, and Just What I Needed. Those were like the three lead-off songs. They all hit the charts. They all did great. They're all staples of classic rock radio today. All of them great pieces. One of the things you noticed quickly was that they switched out lead singers. Rick Ocasek, in an interview, I think it was an MTV interview in the 80s, he said, well, I'm the singer unless the song needs a good singer. And then Benjamin Orr sings it. Really great. A few more tracks on side one. You flip over to side two, and this was just a listener's dream. The album was engineered so that each song flowed into the next beautifully. It started out with a nice long track called You're All I've Got Tonight. It went into an amazing, powerful track called Bye Bye Love, which fades into Moving in Stereo. Famous song from the film Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Watch the film sometime. You'll enjoy it. And then into a track called All Mixed Up. Side two of that album, I just played it over and over and over again. This came out when I was about to start the 7th grade. And then they had a follow-up album called Candio, which came out the next year. And these albums dominated my junior high years. In fact, my very best friend, I've been friends with him for well over 40 years. We met at a talent show in the 8th grade. He was in, a junior high rock and roll outfit, and actually was in several. And they were all playing different Cars songs for the talent show when we were in the 8th grade. Really fascinating to hear all these young kids playing these great songs. They're not terribly complicated songs. Most junior high school musicians could pull them off. But in addition, and maybe this is the bigger part, I'm not sure, it was the visuals. This band was creating a new set of visuals. Black pants, white shirts, skinny ties, a lot of checkered stuff. The drummer had been a design student, and he designed a lot of the album covers, things like that. They had a great visual. When they performed, they looked boring as all get out. They didn't jump around. It wasn't like, seeing Van Halen with David Lee Roth flying all over the stage in a loincloth. This was just 5 guys up on stage playing their music. And really, it set the tone for fashion for when I was in junior high. A lot of people were dressing to try to imitate this. So the bass player Benjamin Orr died, I think about year 2000. He had pancreatic cancer, went real fast. And Rick Ocasek, lead singer, he passed away about 2 years ago, maybe 2019, very suddenly, post-operative problem. He'd had some surgery, and they say, there's always risk involved, and there definitely was. Their videos were amazing, pieces of art, new approaches to things, and they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Maybe 2017, maybe 2018. It was really time. They belonged in there, the new wave sounds. They did perform, all except Ben Orr, who had passed away, and they got the bass player from Weezer to fill in, and it was a really good set. I did not see them perform when I was in junior high or high school. I did, however, see them on a very short tour that they did in 2011. And they just wanted to prove that they could still release an album that was good. And it was good. It was called Move Like This. And they could still tour. And it was amazing because they played the Palladium in Hollywood. I think it was like the second show of the tour. And there was like maybe 6 or 8 nights total. That was it for the entire tour. Not, in Hollywood, 6 or 8 dates total. The tickets were obnoxiously cheap. I think they were $25 a piece. They weren't trying to make money off the tour. They just wanted their fans to see them one more time. Palladium set up a standing room only, no seats. I was 5 feet from the stage, crunched in with my best friend from junior high. And they still weren't jumping around. They still weren't hopping around, but man, they packed some punch. They really made it sound good. You could understand it. It was well mixed. I think they closed off that tour playing Bonnaroo. I think they did one big festival, but otherwise they played these small rooms that they might have been playing in 1976 or 77 when they were first starting out. So check this album out. This is a great album. I'll play it in class a lot this week, and I think you'll really come to like this one. It's the debut album from the album called The Cars. All right, thanks for tuning in. This is Morgan signing off.